So I wanted to do a video real quick where I talked about I want to talk about semifinals because semifinals starts it's Tuesday right now that this will go up the same day. It's Tuesday when I'm recording this, and semifinals starts on Saturday. Starts with BLG versus Weibo, and then Genji versus T1 is on Sunday. I will be doing live reactions to both. I'm going to be recording it. I can't live stream it because I'm not a co-streamer, obviously. But I'm going to be watching the games as they happen, recording my reactions, editing, and getting them out as soon as possible. Like I did with I'm literally blanking. Like I did with T1 top. So I also, besides just talking about quarterfinals, I want to talk about the comments on this video because I knew that people were going to react in certain ways. So I want to talk about the comments that are on this video first before we got to quarterfinal predictions. But if you want to skip ahead to quarterfinal predictions, just kind of look on the player until the point where you see that I'm here. And you'll understand. So, first comment that I got was this one. It says, saying your fans don't criticize you to owner has got to be the most ludicrous thing I've heard today. You have no idea how insanely hard T1 fans, especially Korean T1 fans, go after him. Maybe they trucked basically every player on this team at this point. Even Faker at some points gets hates for them. Owner, though, by far gets the worst of it. I get that you have a bone to pick with T1 fans, which is understandable, but at least get the correct talking points. And honestly, fair. My main interaction with T1 fans is through Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit, where you have American T1 fans who are literally blowing the entirety of T1. Like I said, I referenced a Reddit thread that I saw where it was during the game against G2, where Faker threw a charm at, like, I think it was either Yike or Broken Blade, and missed and accidentally hit Caps because, again, he couldn't see Caps because he was nocturnal, so he couldn't see Caps at all. So it literally was a miss that just happened to hit Caps, and fans being like, "Oh, the casters called this wrong. He he charmed Caps to save owner, charmed Caps to save owner, whatever." Just like that sort of delusion, where it's like, "Oh, it's T1, they can't do anything wrong." That is something that mainly is through American or international T1 fans, which is like my only real experience. Obviously, I don't speak Korean, so I don't know how Korean fans treat T1. I also watched like the documentary that they made about T1 winning Worlds last year and how it's like super overhyping. Okay, let me back up because another comments that we'll talk about later push more into like, I don't hate T1. I really don't. Again, big fan of them from 2021 to 2023. Really just wanted them to win Worlds. 2022 and 2023 really did. Was really sad in 2022 in DR because when I was happy for Deft, I cried for Deft. But I really wanted T1 to win that series, and I really wanted them to win 2023, which happened. So I really like T1. I'm not going to say I love. I really like T1. They're my second favorite team in the LCK, followed by Damwon. Because Damwon were the first world champions when I started like really watching competitive league, and I really liked Canyon and I really liked Showmaker. So I like T1. I don't hate them. But like they were painting this picture during 2023 of like, oh, it's T1 versus all these Chinese teams. How are they ever going to make it out? Such odds stacked against him. But no one had that same narrative for EDG when they won Worlds in 2021 and they were up against all these Korean teams. They were up against the former world champions, Damwon, in the finals. Like, no one has this crazy narrative for EDG. And yeah, it's probably because it's China and people just don't like China very much. But like, T1's narrative is always just pushed up an extra level because it's T1, not because of anything they actually do. Which is something that bothers me personally, because I feel like T1's great, but I don't think they should be treated any differently than other teams, personally. I don't think that T1 should be seen as millions of times better than Genji, just because, okay, again, yeah, sure, Genji tends to not get it done on the world stage. Fine. But they literally were 5-time LCK champions. Only lost this year to Hanwha Life, really. Like, other than that, they steamrolled the entire rest of the field. Almost lost to Dawon, I think, or it was KT. It's one of the two. It was a very close series. But for the most part, they've been extremely dominant. So, like, I think that's how it goes. And then, like, better than BLG, like, the only time T1 beat BLG in the past 2 years was at Worlds last year. Other than they got beat by BLG twice, or they got ruined by BLG and JDG last year. I say ruined. The 5 games that they went against JDG was very good. Oh, they didn't even face BLG last year at Worlds. That's right, they faced, because BLG faced Weibo. Well, still, okay, they lost to JDG twice last year. Lost to BLG once last year. At MSI this year, they lost to BLG again, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember MSI very much because I'm not really huge in MSI. I'm more of a Worlds person, but I remember, I think BLG just beat T1, which then it went BLG, Genji, and Genji won. So I just, like, I feel like their accomplishments are more normal compared to everyone else. Like, I think they're about on par with everyone else when it comes to accomplishments, but there's just this stigma around T1 of, like, no matter what happens to the best team in the world. Because here's my issue. Honestly, my issue isn't with if T1 wins Worlds, they're the best team in the world. Because, okay, yes, if you win Worlds, you're the best team in the world. That is just how that works. That is just how that works. So, like, Damwon wasn't supposed to win that year, I don't think. They won. Same with EDG. DRX was the best team in the world when they won. T1 was obviously the best team in the world last year. Like, it was between them and JDG, and they beat JDG, and then they 3-0'd Weibo. So it's like, you know, things happen. This year, if they win Worlds, yes, okay, they're the best team in the world, because that's just how that works, especially since they're about to go through Gen G. If they beat Gen G, then fine. You know, if they beat Gen G, fine. Because they couldn't beat Gen G all year, but then they beat them this one time, fine. That's why, honestly, people have been talking about how knockout stage should be double elim. I kind of agree. Because one, I think FlyQuest deserves another chance. Biased towards Hanwha, I want them to keep playing. And then if T1 beats Gen G once out of losing to them, let's see, twice in regular season summer, twice in regular season spring, once in summer finals, maybe twice in summer finals. I don't know, 5 or 6 times this year in best of 3s to best of 5s. Like, to beat them once is sort of like, that's not, like, I think Gen G should get to prove that they, I don't know, I think they should get, I just think it should be double elim. That's completely separate talking point, not important. Those are my feelings about T1. But this thread down here is the one this is the one I wanted to make the video. Because I feel like I made this huge, where is it? I typed this up at 11 o'clock last night when I was dead tired, and I kind of don't really agree with some of the stuff I myself said. But let's start. So this person, which, by the way, I think it's very funny that they changed their profile picture, because when they were commenting all this stuff yesterday, it was a T1 profile picture, which I just think is funny, because I think it kind of fits in the narrative of what I'm saying. Anyway, he says, so you want T1 to lose because you love them, you hate them. And I said, because I think better teams have shown better things this year and deserve the spot more. If they win, then great for them, really, but I would prefer it to be Gen G or BLG. That's it. That is the, like, basically the whole basis of my argument is I think other teams deserve to win Worlds more this year. If T1 wins, awesome. Faker's a 5-time champion. That's a record that will literally probably never be beaten, ever. Because that's just ridiculous. Like, Gen G has a chance to get that started this year, I think. Because Canyon will be a 2-time champion. Barrel's a 2-time champion right now. Mako's a 2-time champion, I think. Is he? Did he just win Worlds once? I don't know. Like, stuff can happen, right? There's all this stuff that can happen. But if Faker becomes a 5-time world champion, that's probably never going to be beaten. Like, that's just very unlikely. To be the best player in the world in 2 different eras, 2013 to 2017, and then 2022 to 2024, like, that's crazy. And like again, I think Carrie deserves it. I talk about it later. Like Carrie is incredible. Guma's probably on track to be one of the best ADCs of all time. Zayas is literally a genius, and Owner, I like the way Owner plays because I'm a juggler, so I appreciate Owner a lot. So I respect T1 a lot, and if they win, great for them. I just would prefer it to be Genji or BLG because I think Bin really deserves to win Worlds. I think Knight deserves to win Worlds. I think Chovy deserves to win Worlds. I think Viper deserves. Oh, Viper. Oh, it'd be Viper second too, not just Canyon, but it'd also be Vipers. I think Lehens deserves to win Worlds. Like, I'm back. I think Elk deserves. Elk is ridiculous. That's a completely separate thing. God, that freaking Han-Wall match was so good. But that's just like the basis of what I'm saying is that I think that I would rather BLG or Genji win. If T1 wins, awesome. So I said that. This other random person responded and then never responded again after that. They said if they win, it's because they were better. If they lose, it's because the other team was better. As simply as that. No one cares what face teams show all year if they lose the Worlds. People do care. I'm just going to be honest. People do care. That's a reason why when LNG lost to Weibo, it's an upset. Why last year when BLG lost to Weibo, it's a huge upset because like it's an upset. It's great for Weibo. They then got completely trounced at finals, like literally just insanely diffed in finals. It was ridiculous. It was kind of one of the more disappointing world finals in my opinion because Weibo just got stomped. Especially coming off the last year, which is like probably one of the greatest world finals ever. It does matter. What you show throughout the whole year does matter. There was this huge debate that happened during Spring Split, I don't know how many years ago, with Double Lift, where Double Lift was basically saying Spring Split does not matter. I don't give a shit about Spring Split. Call me for summer. And like that's an issue. That shouldn't be a mindset we have, is that the whole year doesn't matter. It's like, oh, if I just get into Worlds and then I end up winning Worlds, none of the rest of my year matter. Because it does. The rest of your year does matter. All that stuff still matters because ultimately, guess what? There's money on the line and you get more money for your team if you win more. It's just how that works. Like I'm talking about like more so end of split. I'm not talking about like when you see Dignitas facing Immortals. If Dignitas wins, they get money. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about during like summer finals when it's FlyQuest TL, FlyQuest Shock upsets TL. It's more money for them. So this stuff, it does matter. The face you show does matter because it brings its expectations. You know, you see someone perform this way throughout the whole year, they come in, and so you're expecting a certain thing. If it's different, cool, awesome. In my opinion, based on what T1 showed this year, they shouldn't have even gotten out of Swiss. Like G2 probably should have beat them, but what happened. You know, it's great, good for T1. But I don't agree with. It doesn't matter. I don't agree. No one cares because if no one cared, then you wouldn't have this happening where people are criticizing them. You wouldn't have that happening. People do care. Faker cares. Like Faker cares what he does during the regular season. There was literally a moment. Trigger warning for something that happened this year. But Faker literally during the second round robin of summer when he lost to Gen G, when he started banging his head against the wall because he was so frustrated with himself because he cares what he's showing during the regular, like he cares about that. He cares about winning. You don't ever want to lose. How good are you going to feel about yourself? Like if you're the type that thinks that if I just get fourth place and then win at the end, nothing else matters, then you're not an actually competitive person who cares about this as much as you probably should. Like you should want to win. You shouldn't want to lose ever. You shouldn't expect to lose ever. You should want to be first place and then win Worlds. That's the mindset that drives T1 so that despite getting fourth place in the regular season, they can still. I need to check something actually. LCK summer regular season finish. I need to see something real quick because did they actually place? Okay, they did end up placing fourth. Yeah, because KT went 9-9. This is weird. What is this win rate percentage of 94%? What is this 2020? That's Gen G. Where's T1? T1's right here. 61%. Yeah, okay. Like, they beat Damwon fine, but like 1-1 against Live Sandbox. Well, Fear X used to be Live Sandbox. Crazy. 2-0 Damwon. It's Damwon. Whatever. 2-0 them, fine. 0-2 to Hanwhan Genji. Yeah. Like, I think T1 should have been 3rd or 4th seed this year. They basically showed that that's what they deserve to be. 1-1 against KT. 2-0 against Kwangdong. 1-1 against Nongshim. Is that who they... Oh, that's who they lost to. That was weird. It wasn't okay, Brion. So I got that wrong. I got that wrong. And I mentioned that later, which means I got that wrong. So this is... Nongshim was the one that they should not have freaking lost. Where is it? It's like near the end. T1, yeah, get 2-0'd by them. Which, like, what... Nongshim ended 8th. Like, anyway, back to this. So I think it does matter what you show. This person says, you want the person who've done the well this year to win, and that person is either Genji or BLG. You don't want T1 to win because they have won too many times. Nope. Didn't say that. When did I say that? When did I say I don't want the T1 win too much is boring? I didn't say that. Because first of all, this is the first title Fakers won since 2016, I think. 2016, 2017, 2016. That's 7 years. Awesome. Good for him. They haven't even really won summer or spring that often since then. Like, there's always been one team that's better than them for the most part since about 2017, honestly. So no, didn't say that, and they effed up this year. Yeah. If I'm watching, okay, someone later says I should compare this more to sports. So here's the thing. I'm not a sports person really. My family is. My family supports the Texas Tech Red Raiders from, in college football. If Texas Tech goes, let's say they have a 60% win record going into college tournament, I don't think they should win. I think someone else should be able to beat them because of what they've shown all year. I don't think that's weird to say. I think if I see Texas Tech, a 60% win rate team, go against Alabama, a 100% win rate team, I think I should be thinking, oh, Alabama should win this game because they're a better team. They've shown themselves this year to be a better team. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dude, you're being an elitist. What? Imagine you're at school. By the way, this person I get later brought up that the school metaphor was bad. This person brought it up first. I just want to mention that. Imagine you're at school. The whole point of finals is so you can make up for your mistakes earlier that year. Except, sadly, that's not how the school system works. I mentioned later in this that I'm a teacher, and a person later is like, you must be a shitty teacher. I'll be honest. I was actually an English teacher last year, and I was a terrible teacher because I don't know how to teach. I didn't go to school to be a teacher. I was put into this position. Right now, I'm a PE teacher. That's a lot easier. I set up games, set up exercises, and I say, do this stuff. Teaching volleyball right now. I can do that, okay? That's whatever. I don't have to worry about finals. But when I was a teacher, and when I was in school too, I'm in college right now still. If I flunk the entire year, no matter what I do at the end, that stuff is still there. So he says, imagine you're at school. The whole point of finals is so you can make up for your mistakes earlier that year. No. Maybe something happened at home or you were sick. You're not going to give them a chance. That's not the same thing. This isn't last year. I said this in the video. This isn't last year where they had Poby and Faker had to go out with a wrist injury. This isn't what that. That's not that. This is you have school, but you're also working part-time as a model, and you focus more, not because of you, but because you're in school still, so your parents make you focus more on your modeling career than they do on academics, and so your academics fall because of that. That's not your fault, but that's what's happening. It's not that you're getting sick or that something happened at home, because that's what happened last year, and they won, and they deserve to win that year. I'm throwing around this word deserve, and I think that's where a lot of people are getting hung up on, is this whole thing of deserve. Deserve's not the word I should be using. I just don't think T1 should win this year because I don't think they've shown the ability to win Worlds this year. If they prove me wrong during Worlds, which clearly they are, they 3-0 top esports, awesome. Because you don't want to know why? Because they're finally playing like T1 again. They're not trying to play Leona and Alistar and Rel. Carrier can't play those champions. Let him play Pyke. That's what he's good at. Okay? Anyway, so this whole comment's so weird. You're not going to give them a chance? You do give them a chance. But if this metaphor is what you're doing, something happened at home, you were sick, you're not going to give them a chance, then what that means is, say T1 loses to Genji in semifinals this year. Say that's what happened. But then Riot comes up and goes, oh, but guys, they went through so much this year. You know what? Let's have them face Gen G again real quick. And if they win this one, then they get to go through. But if they lose, then they're out. That's what you're saying for them to do. You're basically saying we should give them a freebie because stuff's been happening. No. Because guess what? If Gen G and BLG were dealing with the exact same thing and they were 4th, 5th place in their regions this year, I would be saying the same thing about them. It's what I've been saying about Weibo. I don't think Weibo deserves to be in semifinals. I can't believe LNG lost to them. I can't believe Damwon lost to them. It really is weird to me that Weibo, 2 years in a row now, is 4th place, wins their quarterfinal match, and is facing BLG in semifinals. That's just a weird thing that's happening over on the left side of the bracket. Still mad at Hanwha Life. That's a weird thing. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's just, this is a weird metaphor at beginning. I push into it later and I shouldn't. Then he replies again. If they win, great. Sounds like, if I'm wrong, meh, who cares? And if I lose, I'll be like, yeah, I told you. That's not what I'm saying. I said up here, if they win, then great for them. I'll be like, yeah, good T. I can't wait to see the skins. Awesome T1, really fought back. That's great for you. Sorry, Gen G. I hope you guys will win next year because you're a great team. That's what I'll say. Because here's the thing. I think if T1 goes to finals, they probably will win. They really probably will. Because T1 does not lose to Chinese teams. They just don't. Like, they beat BLG this year. They beat 3 Chinese teams last year. The only time they don't lose to Chinese teams at Worlds. At MSI, they only lose to Chinese teams, which is that's just weird. Like, what is happening there? What is going on with that narrative-wise? Like, if they beat Gen G, they will probably win again. They'll probably beat BLG or Weibo. If it's Weibo, they'll kill them again. If it's BLG, maybe it goes 3-1, 3-2, but they'll probably still win because, like, that's just how T1 is. I don't think they're going to win because they're facing Gen G, and nowhere in the past 2-3 years, maybe even, has T1 shown they can beat Gen G in, like, the big moments. Summer, spring finals, MSI, none of that stuff. They can't. They've shown that they can't. Let me see if I can do this. Let me go with T1 Gen G matchups. Look at this. Playoffs, 3-2. Week 8, that's not live. Head-to-head LoL score history. Here we go. Yeah, currently, this year, it is 7-1. Last match was 2 days ago. No, their last match was 2 days ago. I was like, no, it wasn't. 2-0, 2-0, 3-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-0. That was Swiss last year. 3-0, 3-2, 2-0, 2-1. The last time they beat them was MSI of last year. So fair that. And, like, you got 3-1. Like, this was the same year. Look at this. T1 beat them, but then in finals they lost them 3-1. When it matters deeply, not here, don't worry about this. When it matters, this is important, I won't lie. But when it matters deeply, T1 often loses to Gen G, and so that's just why, like, I'm kind of doing both these at the same time. That's why I just think they're not going to beat Gen G, because when it matters, they usually don't beat Gen G. Anyway, moving on. Here's what I said. As an actual teacher, the metaphor you're using isn't solid at all. If you as a student completely bomb most of the year, simply acing the final doesn't suddenly prove you're good, and it won't make your grades suddenly become passing. Because that's just how the system works. That's not me as a teacher being like, oh, you've been dealing with stuff all year, your grades are bad, I'm going to fail you no matter how good you do. Because that's not my choice. It's not. Guess what? I've been in this situation before. Hi. I was a college student during COVID-19 where I literally had to quit college because my family couldn't afford to have me there anymore. And I've had time where weather or family stuff has affected school. I did high school in 3 years. Like, I've dealt with all this stuff. And the school system does not give a shit about your circumstances most of the time. They just don't. It's a crappy thing to say, but this is going to be a long video. They just don't care. I said, well, yes, the final's more important. You cannot treat life with the idea of, well, as long as I do good in the final, nothing else matters. That's what I'm saying. The rest of this stuff does matter because it sets precedents. And again, you can say it doesn't matter to you. Fine. It matters to T1. They care. that they are losing. They care that they are slumping. They really do. Faker really does. He loves League of Legends. He loves League of Legends so much. He cares so much that they are losing. He's pissed that they can't beat Gen G. I bet you if they lose in these semifinals, Faker's going to be destroyed by it. And that sucks. I don't want that for him. But that's how he is. Because all you people who are saying that it only matters if they win, if they lose, you're not really going to care that much. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're really diehard and you're going to be as destroyed as they are. But you'll be like, it's fine for next year. That's not how T1 views it. T1 views it as this is it. If we lose, it's over, and that's all that matters. That's how they see every game they play. Right? They don't go into game 4 against freaking Gen G during summer regular season and say, if we lose, it's whatever. We just had to make up for it later. They don't say that because they care about it. Right? That's what I'm saying. And then I said, this was me responding to this. I said, better on the day, sure. But there's a reason that everyone called Gen G a better team despite the fact that Hanwha won LCK this year. If T1 wins Worlds this year, then sure, they were better on the day. I don't agree with this, but they won't feel like the best team in the world to me this year because for 99% of the year, they weren't. I will say that I was wrong about that. If you win Worlds, you're the best team in the world. Especially since they're going against the team they could never beat. If they can beat them, then sure. I just wish they had been more consistent. So I said, so you won't give the student who suddenly decided, okay, I can do this and try their best a chance. Again, not my decision. Let's take away the metaphor. It's T1 completely bomb. You know they came 4th, right? Beat 6 other LCK teams. Let me, again, LCK teams. I'm just going to look at these teams. How many of these teams are actually going to have a chance of going to Worlds? Because I have the answer. It's these 5 teams. What is this? Oh, this is spring. Well, whatever. These 5 teams. Those are the only ones that have an actual chance of going to Worlds. So of the actual good, decent, not even good, of the actual decent teams in LCK, T1 got a higher score than one of them. To be fair, I think they almost beat out Damwon. The only reason they didn't was because Damwon beat Hanwha once, I think. Maybe something like that. Because, look, no offense to these teams. Again, DRX proved that it's not always the case. But especially this year, looking at the rosters, none of these teams were ever going to make it. And you can see that in first round of playoffs this year. FearX gets 3-0'd, I'm pretty sure, against Hanwha. Let me look up LCK Summer Playoffs 2024. But that's against Damwon. Sorry, they're not that good of a team. I like Damwon because, look, they get 3-0'd and then 3-1 by T1. Then they get 3-1 and then Hanwha 3-2 Gen G. Like, they got 3-1 by a team that got destroyed by Gen G and T1. FearX isn't very good. And neither are the rest of the teams that are under these 5. These are your 5 teams that are these 5 teams make up LCK. And KT still wasn't even really that good this year. Sure, they have Dash, Pioshik, all these good parts, but they weren't a good team. If I go to KT, okay, Perfect is not that good of a top laner. Pioshik, I still can't believe he's a world champion because Pioshik was not good. BDD, good. Deft, good. Barrel, great. All these freaking subs, jeez. Oh, these are coaches. So being 4th in LCK is really, from an LCK perspective, not that cool. Because if you watch the predictions, everyone predicted T1 to be 2nd place. Everyone did. At least I think they did in spring. In summer, I think it was different because of how good Hanwha was performing this year. But anyway, that's my point. As I said, okay, so you didn't read it all. If a student has a 50% grade, even if they ace the final exam based on the rules set by the school system and not by me, because, hey, guess what? Teachers don't get to choose how we do things. The student will most likely still fail. Here's this thing. I need to. So we're gonna break this up because this is the part that I'm like, I don't really agree with everything I said. They lost a best of 3 to OK Bank Brion. No, they didn't. They lost a best of 3 to Nongshim, and it was 2-0. They're easily the worst team in the LCK. Nongshim was 8, so it's really not that different. Barely beat KT, a team that is complete shit, to get into Worlds in the first place. I'm harsh on KT, but I just don't think they're very good. I'm not even saying T1 is bad. Like, you're literally sitting here and proving my point that T1 fans are brain dead and refuse to see the obvious faults the team has right now. I do believe that. Faker for all of summer was not playing up to his status of the GOAT, and yet people were still glazing him. Zayas performed as he should, but had weird Doran-like moments where he'd get caught pushing in a place he really shouldn't have. That's true. Zayas was just getting solo killed in places where he normally would never get solo killed. Carrier was being forced into engage support, which aren't really his best. He's good at enchanters or assassins. He's an amazing pike player. We saw it against top. And Guma, for the first time since his debut, looked really shaky because credit to fucking Guma Yushi. Last year, when they had Poby, Guma was the only player that actually looked like he was still in top form. Guma's so good. I said, I like T1 as in the video. I rooted for them in both 2022 and 2023. I just personally don't think they should win Worlds this year. And when you have two other teams who are miles more consistent, it would be like if Mad had come in and won Worlds. This is a bit of an over-exaggeration. This person calls me out on it. Because Mad doesn't have a reputation. Fair enough. Whatever. And to add on once again to beat 6 other LCK teams thing, if you actually watch LCK regularly, you know that every single year it's a competition between 5 teams. DRX, Nongshim, Brion, FearX, and Quantum Freaks were never going to get to Worlds, especially this year. The stuff that happened 2 years ago, where DRX were 6th seed and managed to get in 4th seed to go through, beating out Hanwha and I think Damwon or KT, one of those 2 teams, was a super insane exception. That team just like literally was going like this all year and this way up and won Worlds. Zeka was smurfing. Like that's an exception. But this year with the rosters these 5 teams had, it was never happening, especially DRX. So when you have this team that just came off a world championship and they can't even beat Damwon, so this is me talking about regional qualifier to see. Basically, this was to see who was going to be LCK 3rd seed and LCK 4th seed. The Damwon and T1 faced each other and looked, oh my god, so bad. Damwon and T1 both looked god awful, and this is the match. There's one later, but this is the match that for Damwon was like showing like, hey, this is what you can expect at Worlds, and Damwon looked so bad, and yet they still beat T1. And then T1 then went on, let's see, LCK Regional Qualifier 2024. So this was, okay, so T1 Damwon went to 3, it was 3-2, with Damwon basically inting some of these games. And then T1 barely beat KT. Again, just a reminder that this is KT's roster. 3 good players and 2 really not that good players. Perfect is not good. Pioshik is not good. Barrel's inconsistent. Deft, even in the year that Deft won Worlds, really, that was Zeka and Kingen being the monsters there, really. And then BDD is great. It's BDD. So, like, just, I don't know. And they can't even beat Damwon in a game where Damwon actually damn near trolling with how poorly they played. It shows the T1 slipping in a major way. And they were. Right now, yeah, they're back in form. Because I think they finally realized, hey, we can just play whatever champions we want. And the meta doesn't really matter, which is good for them. I said if they win, great. Seriously, Faker deserves it. And with this maybe being the last year this roster is together, it'd be cool to watch them win another title. Carry is great. Guma has the potential to be the best ADC of all time. Zayas is a prodigy. Owner has insane mechanics. And Faker is the greatest player of all time. He just is. I said, I didn't say anything. I didn't say T1 should never win this world championship this year. I know I said a couple times I don't think they deserve it. And again, deserve is a bad word. But I said I want other teams to win more. Other teams who didn't damn near into their whole summer season. And I said, and this is my main point. honestly, I'm more angry at the T1 staff than I am at the players. Because you should be able to see how stressed Faker is. Really. After what happened last year with his wrist injury, now he's world champion coming in, and then they lose in spring again to Gen.G. Lose at MSI. Gen.G wins that too. And then he comes back from MSI, and it's Hall of Legends. It's all this ad stuff. It's EWC, like so many things that they have to deal with. Yes, T1 won EWC. Good for them. They almost lost to Team Liquid at one point, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they ended up facing Gen.G because I think Gen.G went out round one. I didn't watch EWC because I'm not watching Saudi Arabia bullshit. But like this happened, and it's just so much stuff. I said more because it's not their fault. They have to deal with 400 different things to do every single day and barely even being able to practice the game. Because not only were they dealing with all this stuff, but I think during summer they were still dealing with the DDoS attacks that made it so they couldn't practice. It's not T1 the player's fault. It's the staff's fault for not seeing, for prioritizing the fans more than the players. And that's another reason I get frustrated with the fans. I said the fans and the staff have turned T1 into celebrities. I mentioned in that video a thing called Bubble, and I only learned about this recently. Bubble is OnlyFans for celebrities, where people can pay to have celebrities like write messages for them or record a video for them or stuff like that. T1's on that app. So they have all their other stuff, and they have to worry about basically being sold to say hi to people. These people know that these guys play video games for a living, right? Like, they're still just humans. Zayas is like 19. Like, guys, they're not gods. I get that that's a pun on the freaking song from last year, but they're not gods, they're people. They need rest. They don't need to be put up on this massive pedestal where the expectation is they will always win no matter what happens, because that's what causes the stress that Faker has. Faker cares so much about losing to Gen.G because everyone else thinks that they should win every game. All the fans think that they should win every game. You see no matter how bad T1 is performing, look at the fan predictions. I guarantee you that going into Gen.G T1, fan prediction is going to be like 80-20 T1 Gen.G. Despite how much better Gen.G's looked this whole year, T1 will have the overwhelming, maybe not 80-20, but they will have the majority of the fan votes. Because the fans just always believe in them no matter what, and that's great, but you gotta look at like what is actually happening to this team and the stress that they are having to deal with. That's like, it's really killing them. And so the fan staff has turned T1 into celebrities, not seeing them as real people with real faults, and it shows. This is the last response I'm sending, because if you're still going to claim I'm hating on T1 without reason, then you're just another delusional T1 fan. I sincerely hope you enjoy the rest of the world regardless if it wins. And I didn't respond to this person anymore, because it says, I get the system won't let them pass, but I was actually questioning what you thought. The fact that you took my imagine and followed up with the system is blah, 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 and your metaphor is not solid makes me wonder, this dude must be a hell of a teacher. No, your metaphor was just shit. Your metaphor was just garbage. It was just a bad metaphor. That's why I said it was a bad metaphor, because it was. I don't think you should look at this person, but school's very different from competition. I didn't make the metaphor. This person did. Like, I don't understand. It's like people aren't reading other people's comments. They're just reading what I'm saying. Like, please pay attention to the whole conversation. I don't even know who this person is that suddenly came in here and started talking smack. Even though, again, they have good points, and we'll talk about that when we get to this. I said this one that doesn't like students having opinions that differ from themselves. So what the fuck are you talking about? First of all, don't ever sit here and talk shit about me and my profession if you don't know anything. The next person does the same thing too. I'm going to say the same thing to you. Shut your fucking mouth when you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? I take my job very seriously. I do care about students' opinions because I'm one of those people that thinks the school system is fucking shit. Okay? It is. I hate school. I hate the way the system is. I hate the fact that you can't actually fail students who don't give a shit, and that students that care fail because the teaching doesn't actually fit to the way they learn things. I hate that. So don't ever come at me about how I view students or view my job. And if you do again, literally go fuck yourself. I don't care. I'm not going to say it again. We're going to go on. We're going to talk about other stuff. But literally fuck you if you ever say something like that to me again. This person that says here reason behind your hate, I don't get it, but I respect your opinion. I don't hate T1. I don't hate T1. I hate their fans. I hate people like this guy who can't see what I'm saying. Anyway, he says, I don't get it. And it says, thank you, enjoy World Series, let the best team win. Absolutely, let the best team win. If they beat Genji, great, good for them. They beat Genji, finally. Fuck. Okay, this next person, he randomly came into this thread. I don't know why he didn't just start his own comment thread, anything like that. Mostly, I think it's just because he was going off what I said, my big response. Fine. He said, but school is very different from competition compared to actual competitions like basketball. Hey, I compared it to football earlier. Who cares if you're the 8th seed or you come from play-ins? If you win the NBA championship, you're the best. You got better as the season went on. You prepared well for what's actually important. The regular season's important too. It's important to the players. There's a reason. What team was it? There was, I think it's Nongshim. There's a couple teams in the LCK that even when it's like you're not going to play-ins, you're not going to playoffs, you're not going to Worlds, they still play their asses off because the game matters to them. So no, it does matter. Worlds is not the only important thing. Your whole season matters. It does. Competitive esports is about who wins more championships, not who wins more in the regular splits. That is why Faker's the GOAT, because he's won a lot of championships. Yeah. Okay. I agree with you. I agree that Faker's the GOAT. Never said he wasn't. I actually called him the GOAT like twice, I think, in my thing. And who wins more championships, who not wins more in the regular splits. When was the last time T1 won an LCK championship? Guess what? I think it was 3 years ago. LCK season champions. Okay. Oh, that team won the world championship. Okay, first seed. Look at this. First in split. Yeah, this was the SKT Golden Years. They've been the first seed going into Worlds. The last time they were first seed going into Worlds was 2019. So since then, they have not. They were first in spring of 2022, but they lost to Genji in finals. They were third place here. They didn't even go to Worlds in 2020. Despite being first place in spring, they didn't go to Worlds. Like, if your thing is who's won the most championships, if you said won most world championships, fine. But when it comes to domestic titles, Chovy's almost there where Faker is. He literally won 5 in a row. Or, no, 4 in a row. 2022, spring and summer. No, 2022, summer. 2023, spring and summer. And 2024, spring. Almost 5 in a row. 4 domestic titles in 2 years. Like, Faker hasn't won a domestic title in a long time. And that matters, too. That's also a championship that Faker cares about. So, yes, Faker's won more world championships. Won more MSI. I think, actually, has T1 won an MSI? I'm sure they have. When they were in their god mode. I'm sure they did. But Genji has won one of those now, too. We got all these domestic titles. I'm just saying. Like, that stuff matters, too. If Chovy wins more games in split but keeps choking in the finals, would we be considering him greater than Faker? Probably not. I agree. I didn't even mention Chovy's name once. I don't think Chovy's better than Faker. Not longevity-wise, no. If Chovy plays for another 5 years, and he wins a couple worlds and keeps winning more domestic titles, maybe he gets to a point where he's better than Faker. But right now, no. I'm not saying that. I didn't even apply that. Plus, you say they deserve the spot more, but they didn't win when it counted. Who are we talking about? Genji deserves the spot more? Yeah. Not if they're losing to teams, again, like... Then we should just award championships to win the most scrims. The fuck? When am I saying anything about scrims? I'm talking about games that matter, by the way. Scrims don't matter. No one gives a shit about scrims. Because guess what? You have... I think TL was like smurfing scrims this year. G2 were almost undefeated in scrims at Worlds last year, and they lost to NRG and Swiss. I'm not talking about scrims. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, but you say plus they deserve the spot more, but they didn't win when it counted. They won MSI this year. They won LCK Spring Finals. Sure, they lost to Hanwha in finals, but like them and Hanwha were very evenly matched, pretty much the entirety of summer. So like that was one of those, like, yes, Genji was the expected winners, but that was one that definitely it was a 3-2 series. Like, if that's what you're talking about, then fine, whatever. But Genji went 3-0 in Swiss. And okay, here's the thing. If anyone on this planet Earth is going to say Genji looks washed because they almost lost to FlyQuest, literally suck a dick. Because that's just because FlyQuest knows what they're doing. The reason we have had in the past Western teams win in places where they weren't expected to, G2 at MSI 2019, G2 almost winning Worlds in 2019, C9 and Fnatic destroying Worlds in 2018, like Fnatic almost winning Worlds in 2018. They got 3-0 by AG, who they'd beaten in groups, so they actually had a chance. Like, is because the West needs to learn that the Koreans and the Chinese are always going to be better than us at the meta. So play champions that you are good at. That's what FlyQuest did. That's why they almost won. Not because they were like, they would have been better than Genji on the day, but would you have said that FlyQuest is a better team than Genji if they beat them? Really? Would you have actually said that to yourself? That FlyQuest is a better team than Genji? If you're gonna say that yes, then okay. I don't agree with that. I think even if FlyQuest had beat Genji, I don't think you could say they're a better team than Genji. Because you know what would have happened? FlyQuest probably would have got 3-0'd by T1 in semifinals. Because it's like, that's just how matchups work, you know? Anyway, whatever. While you say you're a teacher that gives you more authoritative opinion, I mentioned that I'm a teacher because he brought up school. Again, I want to stress, where is it? He brought it up first. So the only reason I brought up school, or brought up that as a teacher or anything like that, is because he brought it up first. Your intelligence isn't really syncing with it. Shut the fuck up. I was not... This is how I know that I shouldn't care about what this person's saying at all. But I made this because I wanted to address it. Is because I've been respectful towards this person, this other person here, throughout this whole conversation. The only time I shit-talked was towards T1. And actually more accurately towards the T1 staff. Never came at that guy. The first thing this guy does in his first response is he comes at my intelligence. Okay. Sure. I agree that everything should count, but championships should matter more. More, yes. You don't understand competition if you don't think T1 is the best in the world again. If they win again in 2024. I never said I didn't think they were the best in the world if they won. I kind of did. I guess. Where is it? They won't feel like the best team in the world to me this year. Okay, fine. I'm wrong about that. I already said that I was wrong about that earlier. You're just completely biased. No, I'm not. Because guess what? Damwon's my favorite team, and they're not in the tournament anymore. So honestly, right now, I don't fucking care who wins Worlds. I want it to be Genji or BLG. But if they don't win, I don't give a shit. Because I can separate my personal life from a fucking video game. Like, you're brain dead. I'm just gonna say, just making you try to have an unbiased opinion looks weird. Whatever, fuck off. Motherfucker compared Mad to T1. Yeah, I said that was earlier. T1 was second in spring, third in MSI, and fourth in summer. Regular season, by the way, T1 was fifth in both. I'm pretty sure, maybe fifth in spring, fourth in summer, or it was fourth in both. If they came first in Worlds, that is good enough reasoning to say they're the best, especially since the world. It's not a lengthy statement to say they are. Are you kidding me? Ha ha ha, stop acting like you're not a delusional T1 hater at this point. Learn how to spell. Because if you don't say you are, that means you are stupid. It makes it sadder since you say you're a teacher. Again, I mentioned earlier, shut the fuck up about me being a teacher. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay? Because I'm pretty sure the reason you haven't responded to this yet is because you're in school. So shut the fuck up, child. Like, I waited until now to respond to it because I was actually working a fucking job. Like, anyway, I think I got most of my points across. Like, this is just this person. This part is fine. This part's just this person coming at me because he has a problem because I don't like T1. Like, let's do this. Yeah, nothing. I didn't think so. Let's get to this now. So, this is just going to fuel everything. The fact that I picked Gen G over T1. This isn't. I just want to stress. I'm going to talk about Gen G T1 first because I've already talked about it a bit. I'm not predicting Gen G versus T1 to go in Gen G's favor because I like Gen G more. Because I'm not stupid, okay? You know what I would have done if I picked the teams I like more? In quarterfinals, I would have picked FlyQuest to beat Gen G. Or in Swiss, I wouldn't have done this. Like, I picked Damwon to go through, not T1, because Damwon looked like a better team. I picked G2 to go over Weibo because Weibo looked like a better team. But yeah, like this. I was so wrong in my quarterfinals picks because I didn't think Weibo was going to be LNG. Not because I like LNG more. I don't care about fucking Chinese teams. Okay? I don't. I picked LNG because I thought they were going to win. This is a heart pick, okay? I like Hanwha. I wanted Hanwha to win this year. They didn't. So I don't care anymore about who wins. If they win, great. Good for them. I picked Hanwha to win. They lost to BLG. That's close. You know, that's a coin flip, whatever. Picked Top to win because guess what? You don't know why? It's because T1 looked bad this year and Top beat them in Swiss. Those are my two deciding factors on why I picked Top. Not because I don't like T1, but because that made the more logical sense to me. The fact that only 11% picked Top, guess what? Isn't because people thought T1 were more likely to win. It's because people like T1 more. It's the same reason, again, the whole Van Vogt thing. It's the same reason why, when we get to it, you're going to see T1's going to have way more percentage than Gen G. Not because people think T1 should win, because guess what? From all the data we have, T1 shouldn't win. That's why I picked Gen G. Because every time T1 has fought Gen G this year, except for one time in spring, T1's lost. And that was the best of 3, not even a best of 5. That's why I picked Gen G to win. Is because I think it makes more sense. Nothing against T1. Genuinely nothing against T1. Fuck their fans, bro. Literally. Their fans can suck a dick. I don't care about their fans. 95% of their fans are absolutely delusional monkeys. But I have nothing against the team. Really like the team. Really happy they won in 2023. Really gutted they lost in 2022. I think Gen G's better than them. So I think Gen G's going to win. Let's talk about BLG Weibo. So I know last year this happened. And last year, BLG lost in 3-2. Really good series. Honestly, the semifinals last year were so much better than finals. It wasn't even funny. But BLG Weibo. I picked BLG not because of any specific reason. Again, I think BLG, I would like BLG to win Worlds this year if they do. I'm really happy for them. I'm really happy for Ben. I think Ben's great. But I picked it more because last year they lost to Weibo, and I haven't rewatched the series, so I don't remember everything about why they lost to Weibo. Who was BLG's mid laner last year? Because I know it wasn't Knight. Knight was on JDG. JDG also had Ruler. Like, BLG still had Elk. They had Bin. I think the entire team's the same except for Knight. Yeah, I don't remember who their mid laner was. They lost 3-2 to Weibo because the Shy was smurfing. But here's the thing. Weibo doesn't have the Shy this year. They have Breathe. Breathe is very good. They have Xiaohu. I mean, very treasured, but Xiaohu is a notorious finals choker. Yes, I get it. Chovy, shut up. He won an MSI this year. Guess what? He's overcoming it. Yes, he lost in summer finals. Maybe what happened, whatever. Like Xiaohu just, like, I remember RNG, you know, and they lost to T1 in 2022. Xiaohu was on that team. I don't think Xiaohu didn't even go to Worlds last year. I don't think. Actually, I don't remember much of the Weibo team last year either. I just know they got crushed by T1 in finals. But BLG's just looked extremely dominant in their region. I know that it's sus. This is a funny game because not only is it a rematch from last year, but the teams are a little bit different. But the funniest part of this game is that both these teams were 1-2 in Swiss this year. Like, Weibo, not a surprise to me. They lost to... Not standings. Go to home. Oh, no, actually, that's perfect. Go to Swiss. Weibo lost to Genji. Makes sense. And then lost to... Where are they? They beat Team Liquid. Easy game. And they lost to G2. Like, yikes. Then they beat Fnatic easy, and they beat Damwon, which was just kind of depressing. BLG's schedule in Swiss, like, so T1 lost the top, beat Pain easy, beat BLG. To be fair, that I was very surprised by that game. Honestly, if T1 goes to finals, I'm definitely voting for them to win. And then beat G2. So they went out 2-1. Whereas Genji went out 3-0. T1 went out 3-1. And then both Weibo and Billy went out 3-2. But BLG's bracket, like I was saying, they beat Mad Lions. That's obvious. That's easy. Lost to LNG, which is crazy. So they were 1-1. They lost the T1, like I said. 2-0 PSG and 2-1 to G2. So both these teams are looking hella sus. I just know that no matter what happens here, I'm voting for the Korean side to win. Because both these teams have looked super shaky this year. At Worlds. Whereas Genji has looked not flawless, again, FlyQuest, but like, I just think FlyQuest is playing. I don't think that's Genji playing poorly. I think that's FlyQuest playing well. And then, like, you have T1, who the only people they lost to, they 3-0'd. Like, this side looks so much stronger than this side does. BLG did 3-1 Hanwha, and Hanwha looked pretty strong this year too. And Weibo beat LNG, who went out 3-0. So, like, I think this one's super up in the air. I picked BLG more so for regular season rather than Worlds performance. Because they both 3-1 to their opponents. BLG's opponent was technically of a higher caliber. Did Hanwha face LNG? I know Damwon did. Oh my god. Oh no, they beat G2. Yeah, they lost to Genji. They lost 2-1 to Genji. No, because LNG just went out. I was gonna see if they win against each other because Hanwha could have freaking 2-0 D +2. Any of these teams 3-0 Damwon. So I wish it had been Hanwha, because then it could have been Genji Hanwha, and that could have been the finals. That would have been fun. Like, it's such a hard prediction. Because they lose there, but then they 2-1 FlyQuest. This series was awesome. Again, like, FlyQuest punched up against both Hanwha and Genji. And then, yeah, they had to face Team Liquid. I don't know. This one's so hard. It really is. Like, again, the bottom one's easy for me to pick just because of the way it's gone this whole year. Like, I don't see why Gen.G would lose to T1 unless they just let T1 do whatever they want. Like, Gen.G really just has to play their game, and they will win. Now, if T1 bans Smolder, then I don't know if Gen.G can win. Because Smolder's broken, and we really shouldn't ever let Chovy be getting that champion. That or Yone. You really do have to permaban both Yone and Smolder against Gen.G. Because Faker's not a great Yone player. And he's not good at Smolder either. He can't play AD champions very well. Like, his Corki was fine, his Tristan was fine, but he's like, Ryze, Ahri. Oriana. Yeah, these champions, like, if I go... No, hold on. Can I go to... Back to standings, go to knockouts. This. Can I look at these games more closely? Let's go here. Play. Not because I actually want to watch, but because... Let's see. Faker played Silas. Yep, Faker can do that. Skip ahead. Come on. There we go. Faker played Ahri. Yep, makes sense. And then skip ahead. Faker played Galio. Which that was a different look. That was pretty interesting. I like that they have that wrinkle in there now. But like he just plays AP champions. Let's go home again. Let's scroll up and look at this game, G2T1, this series, I guess. Ahri. I think game 2, Ahri. Right? Like, okay, go back now. Against BLG. Silas. Really bringing out his inner Zeka at this tournament. Except Azir is... so there is a Yone game. He did beat... So he beat Pain. You know? He beat Pain. How did he actually do? He went 4-2-6. Fine. But if you look, it's like it's Own or it's Guma that are really carrying. Like, and again, it's Pain. No offense to Latin America, but it's Pain. And then when they lost to Top, it's Nico. So he's shown Silas, Ahri, Galio, Yone, and Nico at this World Tournament. That's it. Just those 5 champions. And it's 4 AP and 1 AD. And the AD he won on was against literally a minor region team who I think pretty much anyone in knockout in Swiss could have beaten. So he hasn't shown Smolder. His regular season Smolder wasn't. Let's go to what is it? Something of Legends. Like, Game of Legends. Let's go Faker. Let's look at win rates. Yeah, so Corki, negative win rate. Tristana, negative win rate. Yone, positive win rate. Okay, fair. I actually thought his Yone was a lot worse than that. Yasuo 2 games and half. Smolder 2 games half. 2 losses on that, and then he's lost on Lucian, Aurora, LeBlanc, Caitlyn, and Nico. He won a game on Galio. That was the recent game. His Tristan is fine. Yeah, so his Corki's actually... no, his Yone's actually better than I thought. I thought he was a bad Yone, but I was wrong about that. I know he has the Yasuo in there, which I could see them pulling out against Genji. But yeah, I think Genji can just ban Yone. And then Chovy can just play Smolder, because his Smolder, it's 1-1. He... mid LCK summer. Okay, so he does more of playoffs. LCK summer playoffs. Yeah, can I look at these games? Match list. Smolder. See, like, here's a victory on Smolder. 1, 2, and 5 against KT, so he wasn't even doing good. And then his defeat was 1, 5, and 5. Yeah, so he can't play Smolder. This is when they got killed by Hanwha in playoffs. So I just think Chovy can just ban Yone on red side and then get Smolder. And then when T1's on red side, they have to ban Smolder and Yone, and you have to ban Aurora, and you have to, so many champions. I say that. I don't think Doran can play Aurora. I don't think Chovy wants to play Aurora either, so they actually maybe can leave that up. That may be a perma Genji ban, is Aurora. I could see that. But like, then you end up leaving up like Canyon's picks, or like you leave up stuff for freaking, I don't know, you just leave up so many power picks. Like if Canyon gets Vi, ugh. Because then Genji doesn't have the first pick Smolder, because like, I just don't see T1 picking it and doing well with it. I can see them picking it, I just don't see them doing well with that pick. I think T1 has to play again Ahri, they can play Galio, they can play Sylas. Sylas is probably a good one. I think Faker's a good Sylas, he's a good Akali. Again, he was Zeka. Like last year, he played Akali in that really good JDG series. Or maybe it was Weibo. I don't know. So, I don't know. These are my picks. I'm keeping them like this. I have more reasoning behind the Genji T1 pick than I do the BLG Weibo. If BLG loses to freaking Weibo again, it's just going to be a sad finals, because I do just see either T1 or Genji killing Weibo in finals, if that's what happens. Like if it's BLG, I think it can be competitive, but if it's Weibo, I don't see that, because I think Weibo is good against Chinese teams, but I don't think Weibo is good against Korean teams. So this video has been an hour long, and most of it was me complaining about this. I sent this to this guy because I knew I was going to make this video, and I just didn't want to sit there and get angry about a YouTube comment while I was sitting at work. Let's actually see. I'm actually going to refresh and see if he has responded now. Show more replies. Nope. Still at school, my guy. Yeah, that's just the way I feel about that. I do want to say at least thank you guys very much for the support on these videos. I'm hoping that this one gets a lot too. If it doesn't, it's cool. But I've been enjoying covering Worlds this year. And I will definitely be trying to do more League content like this soon. It's just hard because like Worlds right now runs while I'm at work. Like when I get to work at about 6:40, and games start at 7 a.m. here where I am. So I had to watch BLG, Hanwha, and LNG Weibo at work. And by watch, I mean listen to at work. So I couldn't do reaction to that. And then there was church whenever it was FlyQuest Gen G. And I didn't avoid going to church because I thought FlyQuest was just going to get 3-0'd. And then they played one of the best series North America's ever played. And I was at church and I get to watch it. And I was sad. And then we went to dinner. We went to lunch after church. And I was like, I'll pull up FlyQuest Gen G so I can just see if it was actually 3-0 or not. And I open up LOL Esports on my phone, and it's like, it's 2-2, and I'm like, what? And I pull it up, and that's when, as I'm pulling it up, is when FlyQuest is dying at Baron. And I went, sounds about right. So I closed it. So that's why it didn't happen. But this week, I am First game's on Saturday, so I'll be up early to watch BLG Weibo, and then Sunday I am taking off from church so that I can watch T1 Genji. And I honestly hope that game. I hope both games go. I hope both series go to 3 games because I just want to watch good League of Legends, regardless of who's winning. I really do feel that way. So, yeah. And thank you guys so much for watching. The people who commented, if you were watching this video and I responded to your comment, it's not that serious. It's really not that serious. I know I made it look like it was getting that serious when I sent that big wall of text, but it's just because this person wasn't listening. Because I didn't throw shade in the comments, but I'll throw shade now. I think that first person just is a delusional T1 fan and really just wasn't understanding what I was saying. The second person is just an asshole who didn't actually bother to pay attention to what was being said and just had his own opinions and stuck to those regardless of what anyone else said. So at least I hope I cleared all that stuff up. For an hour and 10 minutes now, so I'm going to end the video. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on Saturday for Weibo and BLG. Bye. Gotta hit stop recording. Bye.